Meet our free U.S. tax preparation course brought to you by the Borderless Accountant. We are inviting you to join our community. Live training, reputable tax firms as resource speakers, recorded, replayable at higit sa lahat, libre. To join, like and follow our official Facebook page, join our Facebook group for important updates, and fill out our Google form to be included in our mailing list. See you there!
So yesterday we had Glenn share his good news, and again, I'm very happy for Glenn. I'm a little sad because he's not gonna be able to join Wita. I already had him in mind to approach, but yeah, I think things happen for a reason, right? So I wish him well. I don't know if Glenn is here, but I wish him well with his firm, and let's pray for him as well to succeed in that in the firm that he is connected with now, so that if that when that firm, I hate the word if, right? When that firm grows and they would need another preparer, Glenn would not look elsewhere, right? Glenn would look in this community to get someone to join him in his growing firm, right? And Glenn is just the start. Glenn could be the first, but he will definitely not be the last, right? Because sooner or later, I would say sooner, another Glenn will come and share his or her story, about getting hired. Maybe someone soon will also, tell you that he is already now with Wita. You'll never know. Right? Um, so if you're here and you now realize that this course is for you, very, very good, because it's just a matter of time before you can become a US tax accountant. And, iba yung dating, di ba? US tax accountant, kahit wala ka namang degree, okay pa din naman. I mean, hindi naman okay. No. It's really okay, right? And it's very possible for you to be a US tax accountant kahit wala kang accounting background, right? We already told you that, right? Anybody can be a tax preparer in the US, basta um, alam mo lang yung tax preparation. You don't need a degree at all. And so sa mga kaka-join lang, uh, again, advice ko is that, because here's what I do, and Zara knows this. I personally respond to messages in the Facebook page. Like, I find the time. Minsan nga nagre-reply pa ako dun sa Facebook page kaysa sa personal Facebook account ko. So that's how invested I am, and that's I get excited every time there's a question about someone who's interested in joining the US tax prep. So if I see that Zara has not been responding, or if it's during my time, which is nighttime in the Philippines, I respond to those messages. I send out the Zoom link, again, because I'm passionate about this, right? Not for anything, but to help, you know, um, to help people get into the US tax practice, again, because there is a huge demand. When I say huge demand, it's really huge, right? And yeah, nakakalula, but it's overwhelming in terms of learning, especially for those who have no experience pa, or totally new yung US tax concept. It is, but there's always a first time, right? Lahat naman ng first time na ginawa natin sa buhay natin, you know, um, overwhelming, minsan intimidating, but it is always the case when it's your first, right? But that is why we have this community. We help one another. We meet every day so that you can ask questions, you can see how it goes, you can observe, and you can get the assistance, right? That's what we're here for, the community. Because imagine if you don't, if you're working or if you're learning this on your own without any assistance and without the guidance, you'd be all over the place, right? And you may end up, not pursuing it anymore because it's just going to be too much for you. But our approach is we want to make it as, I would say, as digestible as possible, so that it really caters to those without experience or knowledge at all. So, kumbaga zero base tayo. So that's what we want to um, do. And again, I'm very conscious about not being too complicated in terms of my presentation and in terms of answering questions, because I'm very well cognizant that there are people here who have no experience in trying this for the very first time. So, again, if you're new and you have just joined, look up the community page. So, if you have already joined the community, there should be a portion there where you can see all the recorded sessions. And correct me if I'm wrong, we are on our 35th session at that 35th or 36th. I'm not sure anymore, but it should be somewhere around that, right? Um, so you have there, if we are on our 36 now, you will have about 35, maybe 34, because there's one day that was not recorded. Um, and you should be watching it on a in a sequential basis. So start with day one, day two, and then three. Don't jump around because it may not help you fully understand the concepts, right? So make sure that you watch from day one up until day 34, and that way you would be able to catch up, right? And it's not a lot, right? In Zoom, you can always speed up the pace, so you can do it 1.5 times or maybe twice the normal speed. So yeah, and then we have access to the community. We have I would be discouraging people now to use the the Facebook group chat, because we have already maxed out the maximum number of participants there, so we cannot add any more. So we are now using Google Chat instead, right? So yeah, I also make a conscious effort not to, because I'm a big Messenger user, right? I don't use Google Chat a lot. I use Facebook Messenger a lot, but I also make it a conscious effort not to message in the GC anymore, in the Messenger GC anymore, because it will just leave others, left behind, right? So let's make a conscious effort na if we need to message or share anything, gawin natin sa Google Chat, okay? And that way everybody who is in Google Chat can can get the information that we're sharing or the message that we are sending to the group. Okay, so again, Google Chat. I may ask Zara to deactivate the messenger. Maybe not, because there could be something that could be useful there, right? The previous chat. But I would just discourage everybody to use that Messenger GC for communication, and I hope that's okay with you guys. Um, so yesterday we also had Minerva share with us the third exercise, so the third tax return. And I was not able to complete that, right? Because I had to go after 30 minutes. And I know based on the chat that she wasn't able to finish it because I think her internet died. And that was just a very long and slightly complicated tax return. So what we did instead, or I actually asked her to do a recorded presentation because she can't join us today. She's got prior commitment. I think she did send a recording. I saw a message from Kelly earlier that she did send that recording, or maybe it was Jen who did the recording. So she'd send that link, or Kelly would send the link to the recording into our GC, right? In Google Chat, GC. And then I'll also have Zara have it posted in the community. So everybody or someone who just joined and not yet in the chat can also view that. Again, that's the recording for the third tax return. I don't know what the client name was. I think that was Kelly and Jane or something with the 2 Schedule E, right? So I have that recorded na lang so that we can continue with our agenda, right? Because again, hinahabol natin yung matapos ang individual part ng end of July, right? And right now, it's July 15 already. So we're halfway through July. I think that if we continue with the pace that we have and continue to meet every day, I think matatapos natin yung individual on time. Okay? So watch out for that recording, which will be shared by either Zara or Kelly, both in the Google chat and in the community page. Okay. And I would like to thank Jen, who did the recording. I saw a clip of it earlier, and Minerva for taking the initiative. Right. And then I'm not sure if you guys are ready, but if you're not, it's okay. We have a backup plan. But let me just share my screen. Wow, we are 71 right now. We're growing, diba? In the past, mga 50 lang tayo higit, mga hindi tayo maabot ng 60, but we're averaging about 50. But right now, wait lang. Yes, it is. Applying ko lang ano, CJ. Yeah, that's why also, guys, I just want to share with you, I make it a conscious effort to speak in English in our class. One thing, because I'm more comfortable speaking in English than in Tagalog because I'm Bisaya, right? And if I speak in Bisaya, you will not be able to understand, right? And also because I would say I'm more comfortable speaking in English and Bisaya because pag Bisaya magbabuffer yung brain ko, right? So that's one, I'm comfortable speaking in English, and then second, I make a conscious effort because somebody else is watching our materials, right? Not just Filipinos. They could be clients or based in the US. We the people are also watching our materials. So if it's spoken in English, it will be easy for them to understand. But in your case, when you share or when you want to say something, if you don't or if you're not comfortable in English, then feel free to speak in whatever language you're comfortable with, right? But if you also make an effort to speak in English so that you get understood, it would also be better, right? But hindi naman tayo here, we don't use the word must, we don't use the word required, right? So it's always like your free will, right? So if you feel like you want to talk in English, please do so. But if it's so hard that you feel like you'll not get understood if you speak in English, then uh, do it in whatever language you're comfortable with, right? But the point of the matter is that some other people, not necessarily Filipinos, are also watching our session or the recorded session. So if they see you and they watch you, they'll be able to understand, right? So there, you guys see my screen, right? So this is just a guidance for those who have volunteered. We are gonna be covering meals. Oh, no, sorry. These are done. These portion up until row 6 are done, right? So we now have to cover above the line deductions, and these are the subtopics. And we have Juvie, Michelle, Geraldine and Rolando on the line. Oh, sorry, on the I don't know how to say it, but they're gonna be presenting to us the subtopics, and I'm not sure if they're ready because we have not announced it yesterday. If you are, let me know, and then we can proceed. If you are not, then also that's okay, because I asked Kelly to maybe volunteer to present to us how he was able to do the NJ and the NY state to match with the return, right? Because I think that's also the struggles of everybody, that you are not able to figure out how to go about the state returns, right? It's slightly more complicated than the federal, but if Kelly was able to figure it out, then I think you guys can also do the same. So let's just hear from Juvie, Michelle, Geraldine, and Rolando. Are you guys ready to present? Because if you are, then we can just ask Kelly to make a recording of the state returns and then share it to us via the community page and in the group chat, right? If
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
yes, Kelly.
Sir, I'm already done with the recording sa NJ and NY State. And nasend ko na po sa
Okay.
Gchat at Messenger. But I
All
don't know
right.
if they all also get it, sir. Baka
All right,
may
great. So
kulang po ako
just
doon.
confirm, guys. Thank you, Kelly. Ang bilis ni Kelly. um, Kelly is always, yeah. Kelly, si Catboy nag-say hello sa'yo.
Ay, Kat. Kamusta?
Yeah.
Kamusta? Ano di ka? Sorry.
Catboy is my
Yes, sir.
sister or
Ay,
maybe brother.
yes,
I don't
sir.
know. Sister, yeah.
Regards ko, sir.
So he's in the background nagluluto ng breakfast. But yeah, so there, for those who don't know, Kelly kasi is my neighbor, like literal neighbor. He's just like a rice field away from our house. So, but yeah, Kelly has always been the reliable guy, always exceeding expectation. So thank you for that, Kelly, for sharing the video. So let me just
Problem.
check the chat. So Juvie is ready. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then Michelle is tomorrow. Wala daw siyang boses ngayon. Nag-concert siguro siya yesterday. Sana naman successfully yung concert mo, Michelle. Next time, let us watch you. Charet. Rolando is not yet ready, so we'll have him tomorrow. That's fine, no problem at all. And then, nakiusap. Right. So, get well soon. So, Juvie lang yung ready for now. We have yet to hear from Geraldine. But that's okay. We'll have them tomorrow. And then, yung iba na nag-volunteer for the itemized deductions, also please be ready day after tomorrow. Minerva, Glenn, I hope Glenn can join us kasi medyo ano din tong taxes na topic. Maraming, it's a broad topic, yung taxes. And then Mildred for the interest expense, charitable contribution. Similarly, si charitable contribution medyo broad din tong topic na to, Melissy. Personal casualty, si Geraldine uli. Casualty, medyo mahirap tong intindihin, but let's see. It's not too common though. And then other itemized deduction, these are also not too common, Jovel. But yeah, ang medyo ano dito is ito, medical. Yeah, marami din tong dapat tandaan. Taxes, interest, not so much. But yeah, I'm excited to hear from Mildred on this as well. And then, yeah, charitable. All right. Itong retirement account for the above the line, medyo broad din to. So I hope Geraldine would be ready by tomorrow. But for now, let's hear it from Juvie, right? So everybody, let's wish Juvie a good luck. No. But yeah, I know Juvie can handle it. Right, Juvie, take it away. Let me stop sharing.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. My report is, I'll share screen na po, sir.
Yes, po. Juvie, nag-introduce ka na ba before? Or you wanna say hi to the peeps again and then, give us a little information about yourself.
Okay, sure po. Okay, my name is, you can call me Juvie. This is my first month of learning US taxation and also my first month of job hunting, international job. So all Filipino experience ko for 23 years, 13 years in corporates, and then I left, tumakas ako then 10 years plus 10, excuse me, Lucas. Can you go on? And 10 years as freelance for 3 small clients in the Philippines lang po, and just managing a small business. And now at my age, I want to explore, and I want to explore the virtual, and because I still want to be with my family, and I just had another dream. I said last time that I thought I was contented, happy, and busy with my 3 kids, but now I had a new dream. I have a new dream now. So yung experience ko from Philippines po is bookkeeping, assistance on preparation, financial statement preparation, and also Philippine taxation preparation of all the repertorial for tax preparation, tax filing, and also I use QuickBooks and I Zero, and lagi po ako sa accounts payable. So can I can I start my presentation?
Sure. Thanks, Julie. But quickly, where are you joining us from?
Okay. I am from Cabuyao, Laguna.
Okay.
Cabuyao City, Laguna po. Okay.
I think
So I am pure.
Laguna.
Okay. I am pure Tagalog, but I want to speak in English because just last week I passed the accounting test. So but I failed on communication test. It is about the property. The role is property management. So yung email response is as mahirap yung email response, but about the accounting test, so I made manual preparation of financial statements, so from journal entries to posting to general ledger manually, and also sa Excel lang po, and also and trial balance and adjusting it, and up to adjusted trial balance before the balance sheet and income statement. So I passed on it, but on the communication test, I failed, and now I'll try to speak in English, although I am Tagalog, pure Tagalog or Taglish. So can I share my screen now?
Sure, please go ahead.
Let me open the graphic slide.
Okay, go. Okay, excuse me.
Sure.
Okay, nag-charge yung battery. Because this gonna. Okay, I am sharing my screen now. Where's my screen? Lucas, what? Oh, where's my screen? Okay.
Here.
Okay. Why I cannot share? Ito na naman.
Sige lang. Do we allow multiple shares?
Okay. Okay, it's here. Okay. So my report is about, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Your beautiful presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My topic is about educator expenses. This is above the line. So I tackled this. I made it last Sunday po. So I have also here the explanation about the above the line deductions. So educator expense is my topic. And I jump here at above the line of deductions to explain about the above the lines deduction. But previous days from last Monday, our topics are all about above the lines deduction, including, for example, the retirement plan that is also above the lines deduction, and health insurance, and even the Schedule C deductions on Schedule C or business deductions are also above the lines deduction. So this one, just to explain again. Oh, sige, okay, go. Okay, from gross income, this is the above the lines deduction. From gross income, this less certain deduction, less adjust, so equals to adjusted gross income. And this certain deduction is this includes the educator expense. So dito siya sa certain deductions. So itong line na to sa above, this is the above the line deduction. And if we have above the line deduction, we also have below the lines deduction, which is the standard deduction or itemized deductions. So from adjusted AGI, or what we call adjusted gross income, or AGI, we deduct the below this itemized deduction, or what we call the below the line deductions, to arrive at taxable income. So ito na po yung itsura niya. This is the above the lines, and this is the standard deduction is below the lines. In standard deduction, they have the option. I choose standard deduction here because for my example, since 87% of US sole proprietors are using standard deduction, but they have the option to use itemized deduction as long as it is greater. The itemized deduction is greater than the standard deduction. So mayroong lesson to for later pa, may nakita ko may standard, may itemized or standard deduction. So itong nasa example ko is for single. So merong 14,600. Naka-zoom pa rin po ako. Okay. 600, and then meron iba-iba pa. Standard deduction for single lang po. Then just disregard the taxable income from dito. Another lesson na to, although this is correct, but let's just disregard the figure here because we'll tackle this on the other lessons now. So nandito lang tayo sa educator expense. This is one of the above the line deduction po, educator expenses. Okay, first, what is the definition of educator expenses? It is a deduction in a US, it is a deduction of US federal tax benefit that allows eligible K-12 school employees. So teacher po yan, instructor, aide, or principal to deduct certain or out-of-pocket classroom expenses. So ito yung unreimbursed amount lang po. So, and even if they don't itemize their deduction, since it is above the line deduction, meaning it can reduce the AGI po, no? Kasi nasa above the line deduction siya. We don't need to itemize it. Actually, this is just a one line. Excuse me, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I thought I was just... Okay, this is... where are we? Andito na tayo. So, definition of educator expense. Okay. And who are... Ito, educator expenses na. So, this is a definition. So, K-12. Okay, we're done here. And also, I already explained the above the line deductions. For example nga, yung above the line deduction kasama yung retirement plan at saka yung health insurance. Oh my God. Yung first time mag-stay ng anak ko. Pwede akiyot na kanya. Oh my God. Okay, I have twins pala po. They are 8 years old, the boys. They are twins. Okay. And asa na pa? Okay, nandito na. I already explained this. let's proceed to fourth slide. And who qualifies? So he or she must be a teacher po, instructor, counselor, principal, or classroom aide. So dapat yung K to 12 nga, so nagtuturo from kindergarten through grade 12 students. And also he or she must be an employed public or private elementary or secondary school. So dapat may W2 siya. And of course, work at least 900 hours during the school year. So 900 hours is just average of 2 to 3 hours per day. So konti lang pwedeng part-time. And the next slide, what can we deduct? It is just a maximum of $300. Yun lang po yung deductible of unreimbursed classroom expenses. Meaning of unreimbursed is out of pocket man. Kasi yung teachers ngayon, I remember sa Philippines, meron silang 10,000 na budget for the whole year for the expenses nila. So, hindi dapat kasama yon. So, out of pocket dapat. Kung na-consume na nila if they already consume their 10,000 pesos or the principal budget. So, yung unreimbursed, yun yung deductible lang po kasama lang dito sa deductions po. And of course, if they are married and filing jointly, and they are both educators or employed as an educators. No? So each of the spouse can deduct or can claim maximum of $300 each spouse. So the total of $600. They cannot claim $300 is maximum. So hindi pwede yung $400 kay husband and $200 kay wife po. So pwedeng isa lang. As long as there are both educators, they can claim $300 each. And qualified and these are the list of qualified expenses. Books, supplies, classroom materials, and then computer equipment, software used in the classroom, professional development courses related to your teaching, and then ito yung mass sanitizer for protective items. Okay. I think yung $300, they can consume it fully yung $300 kasi dito pa lang po sa sanitizer kulang pa yung $300 nila. Then my laptop and then books. So on my example, I will claim all the $300. $300 maximum na po siya. And ito, next slide, I have notes here. So not deductible ang homeschooling expenses. And of course, yung reimbursed cost na hindi na pwede to. And also this one for PE classes, outdoor PE classes, yung ropes, balls, and mats is cannot be deducted, is not deductible. And also I have one notes here. You don't need to itemize, okay, we don't have to itemize this claim because it is an above the line deduction. So one line account, which is the educator expense lang. So no need to itemize these supplies for computer as one-time total lang po siya. And it is reported on Schedule 1 and line 11 of Form 1040. And then on my 8 slides is what are the valid receipts. Okay, I remember what are the valid receipts. So if this is the first time of our client to be advised about this educator expense, so at least we can advise to keep them, or if we're working on the taxable year now, for example 2024, although tapos na yung filing ng 2024. So for example, and wala silang receipts. They didn't they didn't have a track on the previous receipts or the taxable year receipts. So at least dito we can advise them to look on the receipts or email confirmations, and meron diyang mga e-receipts po, so we can they can be the basis of our report para mabuo yung $300 na tax na deductible. And also in digital wallet, meron din po dyan. And of course, dito sa online purchases, may mga e-receipts din dyan. So they can look on it for sure, mabubuo nila yung $300. And this one, service invoice, just like in the Philippines, we have service invoice here, so wala ning OR sa atin. So yun yung mga pwedeng receipts na itatago nila. And of course, the POS receipts, invoice. Yeah. I remember Sir Chris said that it is least likely to get audited by the IRS or get checked by IRS, because since this is just $300. So, but we can always but we have to advise them to keep the receipts. It is least likely to check, but there's still a possibility to check. So they have to keep track of the receipts. Okay, let's proceed to the 9th slides. And I also remember Chris said that credit cards can be a basis siguro kung wala ng ibang source, pwede natin gawin siyang basis since it is least likely to get checked by the IRS. Credit cards, pwede daw po credit cards, bank statements, yan. Kung wala na nito po. And so this is my example. Marcus. Okay, this is my example. So ito. Educator, this is the I just have 2 example of income, which is the W2 and the tutoring from business income, and then this is one is adjustment to income na po. After the gross income, this is the gross income from gross income, and then less adjustments to income, and dito yung educator expense. And then, sinama ko na yung home office deduction. Pero marami pang example of adjustments to income. Maybe I can use Michael Carter. Kasi 300 lang naman yung i-input ko. And let's just assume that Michael Carter is also an educator sa senior high school. And he rendered 3 hours per day. So to reach on 900 hours requirement for the school year po. So si Michael, gagamitin ko yung account ni Michael Carter kasi marami na siyang input. $300 lang po yung ipapasok kong deductions niya sa adjustment to income. So let's just also assume that he has W2 for it, yung compensation po for as a teacher po. This is my end. Meron pa pala akong slides. Hindi pa pala tapos. So my 10 slides. And also we can advise this to our clients to keep track on expenses. So he can use spreadsheet or Excel, QuickBooks, but siguro okay ng Excel since kung konti lang naman ang transactions po. Excel is enough. And also book or notebook just to log purchases. And also they can take a photo of it and store it para may digital copies sila. Kasi because there are receipts na fadeable katulad ng POS receipts from Jollibee or restaurants. Nag-fade yung ganong invoices. POS invoices po. So yung iba, photocopy, but ito, they can snap a store, take a photo of the receipts and save it for future reference po. And on my 11th slides, this is just an example of tracker, Excel tracker. And example lang po, madali lang yan, konti lang to. So kahit notebook, kahit log lang in notebooks and or Excel type, pwede rin po. Okay, this is the end of my presentation, and I'll share now my ProConnect. Do you have questions po ba before I share to ProConnect, or I'll share it now? ProConnect.
I think you can proceed now, Julie, because the questions in the chat, I've already answered most of them.
Okay, please. So I have example here. I made an example kay Taylor Morgan, but I like to put it on Michael Carter na lang kasi maraming transactions. Michael Carter. And then, okay, I click on the profile of Michael Carter. I will input now the educator expense po. So one amount lang siya. So for example, I will claim the maximum $300 deductible. And then, so it's here adjustment to income. So I'll start again po, no? Okay, dito. So tax returns, and then Michael Carter. Yeah. And then here, adjustment to income. Nasa adjustment to income siya since it is above the line. Andito po yung, if you remember, this is the retirement, the health insurance, and then here is the education. Educator expense po. Ito lang siya. So 300 output, I'll input $300. Okay. Let us check and then check return. Tama lang po. Wala nang iba, yun lang. It's easy lang. Easy like that. Mamaya I will try if I put a higher dollar amount. So let's check the return. And then okay. So this is the adjustment to income. Andito siya. Before I show the forms, so adjustment to income. Andito yung educator's expenses. This is the gross income. Andito lahat yung gross income niya, lahat. Nandiyan na IRA, business income. And then this is the gross income. And below the lines expenses, andito po, including the health insurance, self-employed, kasama yung self-employed tax po na. And deductible, ito, andito rin yung self-employment tax pala. And then andito yung yung retirement and educator expense. Ito yung educator expense. This is a 300. And now I will show, and that's before the itemized deduction or standard deduction. Ito na yung below the line. Okay, I'll show you the forms. And click US forms and go to 1040 form for individual income tax return po to. So this is Michael Carter. AGI. So ito sa number 10, AG adjustment to income, total na 17,000 kasi andyan na yung pinakita ko kanina na schedule. So schedule 1. So this is the total, yung 17,000, this is the total of AGI or adjustment to income. So we will look on schedule 1. Nasa schedule 1 siya. Wait lang. Nasaan ba siya? Okay, andito nga po siya sa schedule 1, additional adjustments to income po. So ito yung $300 as educator expenses. Yan. And then nandito na rin yung iba. Self-employment tax and the retirement plan and health insurance, nandito na rin po siya. Yung total 17,000 po. I think, let's check po, sir, kung if I input a larger amount. Okay, let's check. Okay, we'll go again to, okay, meron na dito, input, return. Pwedeng dito na lang, pwede rin dito sa check return para sa mga bago. But I'd like to use na lang. Ito na lang pala. Dito na lang. Saan na ba? Ito, adjustment to income. And dito na nga lang sa view all na lang. Tapos punta ako sa education. Let's check po if I put in $1,000. Example lang po to in case just in case he has the educator expense, or Michael Carter has $1,000 for the educator for the supplies, for unreimbursed supplies po. Let's check kung kung $300 pa rin ang ika-capture po ni 1040. Okay, we'll go back to where is it? Check return. Let's check the 1040 markers. Okay. And then 1040. So wala siyang no changes po, even if it's above, even because $300 is a maximum deductible po. So that's why let's check on schedule 1. $300 pa rin. Ayan, $300 pa rin po. So I think this is the end of my report, Chris. My questions.
All right. Before we entertain questions, we want to thank you, Juvie. Can we just give Juvie a round of applause, please? I think she did a fantastic job with her presentation. I'm so proud of you, Juvie. You know, coming from no experience at all in ProConnect, you're now navigating it like a pro.
Thank you for 15th day.
Yeah, I mean, it is just, you know, a good inspiration to everybody. You know, Juvie has no experience in tax preparation, as she just said earlier. She's been doing bookkeeping, though, but her clients are in the Philippines, so she's not handled any foreign clients or US client for that matter. And so just like you, Juvie has just, you know, learned tax preparation from zero, right? When she joined this free course. And look at how she's navigating ProConnect. Like she's navigating it like a pro, right? So good job. If Juvie is able to do it, you guys can do the same thing, definitely. And I also like your slide. They were very detailed. And yeah, you gave us a lot of information there. And yeah, the way you navigated the software and the way you also went out of your way to see how the impact or what the impact is on the return if there was more than $300 in the input field. So good job. And I also really would like to commend you for you know, doing your best to speak in English, right? Because like what you said, you did try an online assessment and you failed in the English and the communications side. But yeah, you know, that's how we learn, right? That's how we grow. We try, right? Because if we don't try, we don't learn, right? So good job there. And I know, you know, you're gonna go a long way. The way that, you know, I see it in you already. You know, it's just a matter of time before you can get a tax preparation job, or you know, as you can become actually a US tax practitioner in the very near future. So yeah, good job, Juvie. I'm proud of you. And so, yeah, if you have questions, you can address it to Juvie, or you can address it to the group, or you can address it to me. One thing though, Juvie, if you want to go to input return while you're still sharing your screen, we want to go back to the client information. So click on input return and then go to general information for the client. So educator expense, if you look at the profession client, when it says a teacher or educator, then you have to automatically ask if he or she has educator expense, right? Because he will automatically qualify for it. So yeah, if you go to, I think it's in general, yeah, client information, and then you want to go down. So there
He
should
is a
be,
software.
yeah, so
He is
he's
a
a software
software
engineer.
engineer. Yes.
Yeah, but we use him for just an example, right? But
Yes.
yeah, that's where you would input the occupation of the
So
taxpayer. So again, if the profession is an educator or a teacher, then dapat meron siyang educator expense. Okay? Kasi malaki-laki na rin yung $300 kasi it's above the line deduction. And good job then,
okay.
Juvie, when you presented earlier in your slide, the difference between the above the line deduction and the below the line. Because it's a
Okay.
common terminology, right? So AGI, you already know what that is. So any deduction that is above the AGI is
Okay.
that's the above the line deduction, and then anything below that is obviously below the line deduction, right? So um
Okay.
I think she explained that very well already. I don't think I need to emphasize that anymore. Anyways, after all these above the line deductions are presented, I will also show you a summary of the lesson from the Gleim resource that we have to just
Okay.
reinforce your understanding.
Okay.
Um,
Let's let's stop share na po, sir.
yeah, you can stop sharing. Thank you.
Okay. Stop share. So,
Right. JB, have a question?
Good evening, Coach. Coach, what if my client or the client has multiple jobs and teaching is just one of them? How do we address the occupation field?
All right, great question. So yeah, you can put, or you can ask the taxpayer what is his main job, right? So whatever is the main job, like the ones that consume the most of his time, that will be the main profession. But like if kagaya ni Michael Carter, he's a software engineer and maybe it's also a part-time professor, and he qualifies to the number of hours that is required to claim for the educator expense. You don't need to put the educator you don't need to put educator as a profession anymore. So um just maybe make some note or comment on the work paper that you have that the taxpayer is a part-time maybe professor. No, not professor because 'di ba K to 12 lang to eh. So hindi siya qualified sa mga college na ano. So maybe part-time senior high teacher, right? So if that's the case, just put a note in your work paper that this taxpayer is a part-time teacher. If in case matanong bakit may educator expense. Although, the IRS puts no big deal on the educator expense, again, because the amount is immaterial and it's not likely going to be audited. But if in case, worst case scenario, it gets asked, um, then you can fully support the claim, right? Normally naman, the IRS, if they have question on the return, they would send a notice, right? They would send a notice to the taxpayer if may mga i-disallow silang deduction, right? So whatever the return that was filed, and it will be processed, di ba, we talked about e-filing. So it gets e-filed to the IRS, and then the IRS or the system of the IRS will evaluate the return. And if may i-disallow silang mga deductions, they will prepare another return, right? They will prepare another return, and then in the tax notice, may reconciliation sila. So as prepared, one column, and then as per the IRS. So nakalagay doon ano yung mga disallow nilang deduction. So if they disallowed the educator expense only because they saw that the profession was, not an educator, then we can send a response to the IRS. Either the taxpayer can send a response, call the IRS about that, send a mail or a fax, or us as a tax preparer, we can represent the taxpayer by us making the call directly to the IRS. And then explain lang natin, this is a part-time teacher, and he qualifies doon sa 900 hours. 900 hours ba yun? Basta mayroong qualification na minention kanina si Juvie. So, okay naman yun. The IRS will not make a big deal out of it. But just in case that happens, there's always a way to explain it to the IRS. Hindi naman pahirap yung mga taga-IRS like the ones that we have in the Philippines. Basta may mga supporting lang na ano. And I have not experienced anything that, especially the educator expense na audit. Yung Schedule C, madalas, yung pinaka na-audit. So, in cases like that, again, kung tayo yung preparer nung return, we can represent the taxpayer kahit hindi tayo enrolled agent. Yan yung exception. So, 'di ba yung sinasabi ko na sa inyo, we can tax representation. This is another topic by the way, but because we have a lot of time. um, Only 3 profession in the US can represent a taxpayer right before the IRS. Tax lawyer, a CPA, or an enrolled agent, right? However, if tayo yung nag-prepare ng return ni taxpayer, hindi natin kailangan maging tatlo. We can represent them before the IRS kasi nga tayo yung nag-prepare, right? Pero kung hindi tayo yung preparer, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-represent sa taxpayer, right? We need to be either a CPA, a lawyer, or an enrolled agent to be able to represent that taxpayer before the IRS. Kunyari, iba yung nag-prepare ng return, right? Tapos, inaudit ni IRS. Siyempre, unang-unang i-approach ni taxpayer is yung nag-prepare ng return. Pero baka nag-out of business na or hindi tinanggap or, maybe because sabi ni in the mind of the taxpayer, bakit pa ako hingi ng tulong sa taong nag-mess up ng aking tax return? 'Di ba? So he or she would go to another firm for him to get a resolution doon sa a representation doon sa audit ng kanyang return. Right? So in that case, since hindi tayo na-prepare ng return, we need to have a 2848 signed, yun yung power of attorney, and then we must be again, either a tax lawyer, a CPA, or an enrolled agent. Doon tayo papasok. So kung kayo ay eventually decide early on, I mean at this early point in time na gustong maging enrolled agent, that's something that an enrolled agent can do. So medyo powerful na yung enrolled agent. Kaya nga I was also thinking of really going after yung mga Filipino CPAs na gustong mag-US CPA kasi may kamahalan yung US CPA, di ba? Pero kung gusto lang naman nilang i-practice is tax preparation or tax, not tax preparation or tax, gusto lang nilang mag-practice ng tax sa US, instead of doing US CPA, mag-enrolled agent na lang sila, di ba? Kasi cheaper, mas madali, and ganoon lang din naman yung value, di ba? Tapos, sa part nyo, kung hindi kayo accounting graduate, hindi na big deal yun kasi alam ko, if you are gonna take a US CPA sa US, kasi meron ng exam center ng US CPA sa Philippines eh. They just recently opened. You have to have the certain amount of credits, no? So may education requirement talaga yung US CPA. But yung enrolled agent, wala. 'Di ba? Walang kailangan ng ano, tawag dito, yung transcript of record, mga credits na yan. Walang ganong requirement. Ang pinaka-requirement lang ng IRS, PTIN, right? Yung Prepared Tax Identification Number, which is sobrang daling kunin, 'di ba? So, kung kayo ay frustrated na Filipino CPA na hindi maipasa yung Philippine CPA licensure exam kasi sobrang hirap, 'di ba? Mag-enroll agent na lang kayo, 'di ba? Mas ano pa, mas broader pa yung market, mas ano pa, uh, high paying pa. Tapos um hindi pa yung I was even talking kasi yesterday, last night, we went to another Filipino's house. May dinner invitation kami dito sa St. John's. And yung mag-asawa, parehong CPA sa Philippines. So, tapos nag-work sila sa BAR. Tapos they migrated here sa Canada. Tapos yun nga, napagkwentuhan namin yung kalakaran sa BAR. Yung mga envelopment, yung mga pahirapan para lang mapadali yung usapan. You know, totoo pala talaga nangyayari yun. Kasi again, coming from them, from both of them na practitioner, nakakalungkot, di ba? Sobrang nakakalungkot. And I'm glad na hindi ko naranasan ko isang beses. Naranasan ko isang beses. Um, pero sinabi ko na sa sarili ko, this is not something I would want to do for a long time. So, I'm glad napunta ako sa US tax practice kasi kung ano talaga yung inaral ko, yun yung na-apply. You know, tapos hindi pa nakokorrupt yung character natin. You know, we are able to do things the right way at wala tayong hindi tayo hinahabol ng konsensya. 'Di ba? So, for those of you na nandito tapos may mga CPA na credential or ayun, nagbabalak maging CPA, think about it. Think about the option of becoming an enrolled agent. Right? Or kahit man hindi kayo CPA or kasi kaya nga sinasabi ko yung pinaka-requirement lang for you to become an enrolled agent is yung kung may passport kayo, okay na yan. Kung may driver's license kayo, okay na yan. Yung akin nga is passport tapos pinanotary ko lang doon sa I don't know if some of you are from Cebu. Di ba sa Cebu, sa pumunta ka ng City Hall, ang dami dong mga notary services. Ewan ko kung legit yung mga yon. Pumunta lang ako dun sa isang notary service, pinanotary ko yung photocopy ng aking passport tapos binigay ko dun sa boss ko na I was working for at that time. Tapos nakukuha na ako ng PTIN. Diba? Yung iba, kasi sa akin, minail yun. Pero yung iba, I know nakakakuha sila ng PTIN through online lang, sa online portal. I know Andre, for one, was able to get his PTIN online. Matter of weeks lang ata, nakuha niya na. So, for those who would want to get the P10 para makapag-take ng enrolled agent exam, I think it's more than just Andre. Meron dito din na may nagka-experience na ng P10 application. Pero hindi niyo naman kailangan like as soon as possible to get a P10. Pag-isipan niyo muna. And tapos wag muna ngayon kasi July. Kasi yearly kasi yung renew yung P10. Don't ever do it patapos na yung taon. Kasi magre-renew na naman kayo. 'Di ba? So, para lang yung mayor's permit, gawin niyo yung start of the year. Mga January or February para sulit yung binayad niyo. Kasi kung kumuha kayo ng P10 mga November or lalo na December, sayang naman yung $47 ata. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it also is, sayang din yung few thousand pesos. Tapos magbabayad ulit kayo the following year. $20 ang pala. So magkano yung $20? Mga 1,000 mahigit din. Pag di ka pinag-sign sa notarial book, lam na. Oo. Yun nga sobrang isip ko. Hindi ata to legit. Pero tinanggap naman ng IRS. So, I think ganun ka hindi big deal ba? Basta nakita lang nila valid passport or So, ayun. Hi, Chris. If a college professor could not claim his so-called educator expense, is there another way that they can claim said expenses? I don't think there is. So kung college professor ka, you cannot claim the educator expense. And if you did spend, um, siguro unless yung college professor is uh, a contractor na let's say nagturo siya sa university and then hindi naman siya employed ng university kasi part-time lang siguro. Tapos inisyohan siya ng 1099 NEC, 'di ba? So magfa-file siya ngayon ng Schedule C, right? So lahat ng expenses niya, like even his car mileage going from his place to the school can be claimed as an expense, business expense. Yung chalk or whatever, yung anything that relates to him doing his job or not doing his part-time job as an educator can be claimed as a business expense dun sa Schedule C. So that's my answer to your question, Ruben. I hope na-address ko siya. So, pero pag W2 siya, like employed siya ng university, he gets a W2 at the end of the year, hindi niya pwedeng i-claim yung expense. Okay? Kasi nga employed siya. Right. Paano mag-process ng PTIN? Ana. Online lang, Ana. Hindi ko alam yung link eh. But try to message dun sa GC natin. Wag dito kasi nawawala ba yung mga messages dito? But I'm sure people can answer you dun sa GC with the link on how to get the PTIN. Basta ang pinaka-requirement lang dun is photocopy ng valid ID with notary. So, dapat notarized. By the way, is this Canadian and US taxation? No po. US taxation lang. I don't know, for some reason, hindi ko masyado ma-digest yung Canadian, one time, tinignan ko yung tax return ng kapatid ko. Naguluhan ako. Ano ba to? Mga terminology silang mga royal or something. Parang na-overwhelm ako. Ayaw kong aralin yung Canadian tax. Also because, bakit ko aaralin yung Canadian tax? Ang Canada, ang konti ng taxpayer nila, di ba? Like, I think mas marami pang Filipino kasi sa Canadians. Kasi di ba population ng Canada, sobrang laki ng Canada pero ang population nila hindi pa yato abot ng 100 million. Right? As opposed to the US na, di ba, 500 million na sila eh. So mga nasa 500 million plus na nga yata yung US eh. So, yun, di ba, kung mag-aral ka ng foreign tax, dito ka na sa US, wag na mag-Canada, wag na Australia. Australia mas lalong konti, di ba? UK, na, UK is big, but it's nothing compared to the US market, right? So, mag-aaral lang din naman kayo ng accounting and tax, doon na kayo sa malaking market, di ba? Although pinakamalaki siguro China at saka Russia, pero would you be able to understand their language? Diba? So, US na kayo. So, Mary Ann, to answer your question very simply, this is US taxation po. Sabi ni Jocelyn, Canadian tax preparers are exclusive for their citizens only according to MTL. Unlike US, pwede ka maging TP to EA. Yes. So, yeah, US, I love the US tax kasi borderless siya. Diba? Talagang open siya to anybody. Arnold, restricted or limited lang siguro sa K-12 educators? Anything above, hindi na qualified. Yeah. Ruben, yeah. All right, great. Ayun, nag-post si Rolando ng PTIN requirements. Great. Ruben, Chris, another one. What is annual filing season program? Yeah, the annual filing season program is yun yung conducted by the IRS. So if you want to be able to get an EFIN, which is a pinaka-requirement nun, pinaka-requirement yun for you to be able to get a tax software if you would like to become, a tax preparer na ikaw yung magsasign ng return. You have to participate in the annual filing season program ng IRS. Can we participate in that? Not very easily because pinaka-requirement doon is social security number. So sa US, magkaka-social security number ka lang kung green card holder ka or citizen. That's the only way for you to get a social security. Or you have a B1 visa, right? Meaning employed ka by a US firm, right? Or a US company, which is ang hirap, especially these days with Trump, right? Or kung wala kang SSN, you can do an ITIN. ITIN is an individual tax identification number. And I already applied for one for myself, but until now hindi ko pa nakukuha. Medyo hirap din siyang kunin actually. Um, but we'll talk about that on another session siguro about ITIN. Siguro kung nakuha ko na yung sa akin. Kasi ngayon hindi pa. Ewan ko kung makukuha ko ba at all or hindi. Kasi that was my goal then. I was hoping that next year, I would be able to get my own tax software. I will participate in the annual uh, filing season program ng IRS so that I can get my own client no, na taxpayer. But then God is good, I got connected with Wita. So I feel like hindi ko na kailangan hindi ko na kailangan mag AFS pa. Kasi mahal din yung tax software actually. And then building your own firm also costs a lot of money because magma-marketing ka, you'll have to start from scratch, right? You're building out your own firm. However, um, it takes a lot of resources then, right? So in my case, because I now am part of Wita and eventually will work out an equity ownership, maybe at a later time. Um, hindi ko na kailangan, di ba? So, kasi may IFIN na naman sa Kendall. Kendall is the one that's attending the EFS. Kasi si Sam, although CPA siya, but he's not really a tax practitioner. So, kailangan mo maging tax practitioner for you to be able to participate in the AFS, AFSP, right? And also that's also a way for you to get credits from the IRS. Kasi if you're a CPA or EA, even tax lawyer, meron tayong, di ba, continuing education kahit sa Philippines man. We also get that by joining the AFSP for us to, like, sa case ko, enrolled agent, we renew our license every 3 years with the IRS. And every year, dapat meron kang ini-earn na CPE credit, which last year naka-earn ako. This year hindi pa. Wala pang isang credit. Tapos pa July na, 'di ba? Pa July na. So, yeah, that reminds me na kailangan kong mag-earn ng, I think every year 24 credits dapat yung i-earn. Yeah, I think. Because total for the year is for the 3 years would be 72. So, US CPAs also really take that very seriously, yung CPE. Kasi hindi mo, like even sa Philippines, actually yung aking CPA license sa Philippines, hindi ko na renew. Kasi hindi ako nag-a-attend ng mga PICPA na mga, kasi ang mahal. Kalawa ka sa Pinas, ang mahal ng mga I don't know if you guys can relate, ang mahal ng mga seminar. 'Di ba? Tapos, kailangan pa live. Kailangan ka pumunta doon. Ay, kaloka. Hindi ba? So, yung CPA license ko parang pang ano na lang, pandagdag or ano ba? Hindi ko naman nagagamit yun. I'm not even thinking of renewing mine kasi na-expire na yun siya ng May this year. But I don't know. Chris, maganda ba manirahan sa US? Good question. 2023, checkahan na lang tayo ha. May question kayo kasi we have time. Tomorrow, mag-resume yung iba kasi hindi pa sila ready mag-present. When I was in California, 2023, doon ako na tumira sa Santa Monica, California, in LA. Sobrang ganda, as in sobrang ganda. Para siyang, in the Philippines, para siguro siyang Forbes Park. And, sabi ko, ang ganda manirahan dito. But inisip ko, sobrang comfortable ng buhay. You know what I mean? So, parang sobrang comfortable. Doon ko na-realize na I still would want to live in the Philippines. Kasi ayokong mabuhay ng ako lang na komportable lang ako. Na gano'n, na parang I live for myself. Parang okay nga, maganda buhay. You have a good house, you live in a really good environment. Pero parang, I don't know, yeah, it feels empty. Right? It feels empty. So, doon ko na-realize, okay lang ako sa US magpunta-punta, but I have not considered anymore living here. Kasi isa ding ayaw ko is yung winter, di ba? Sobrang ayaw ko ng cold weather. New York is very beautiful. Like right now, I'm missing New York a lot. I feel like it's my city, but I don't want to go to New York on winter time. Tapos, nabalitaan ko kanina when I was browsing through Facebook, binaha sila. So I could imagine the hassle of New York kung walang subway. But yeah, there's a lot of really good places in North America. When I say North America, that involves like um the US and Canada kasi pareho lang naman sila halos ng landscape. And the city, like Toronto is like similar to New York. It's really, really lovely to live here. Now I'm in St. John's. Ang ganda din dito sa St. John's. Sobrang ganda. And then, kasi oil industry sila, meron silang oil dito. Sa streets, ang dami mong makikitang mga high-end na cars. So, yaman nila, ang ganda ng buhay. Pero hindi ko din nakikita talaga sarili ko na tumira dito. Kasi I feel like I belong in the Philippines and marami akong pwedeng magawa sa Philippines na, could help improve people's lives. Parang, parang basta. Ayun na feel ko. And then, I also traveled to Mexico. I feel like I wanted to try Mexico kasi hindi nagwi-winter sa Mexico, 'di ba? Although part siya ng North America. But I didn't like the food. I realized I didn't like the Mexican food at all. Yung mga fajita, yung mga nachos and stuff, parang hindi ako mabubuhay dito. I'm a big Filipino food fan, right? So nagki-crave ako ng sinigang, mga tinola, basta anything Filipino. So ngayon nga, nami-miss ko na kaya gusto ko na rin umuwi. If there's one thing I miss, it's Filipino food. So to answer your question, JR, it's really good. It's really, really, really good to live here. Quality of life, ang ganda ng mga tanawin. Mahal ang cost of living, but there's so much opportunity. Like you can work. Kung matyaga ka, I mean, you would really find a job. But if you ask me, it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I don't see myself changing my passport to a Canadian or to a US passport. Siguro kung gustuhin ko lang para makapag-travel kasi pag passport nila powerful, 'di ba? Hindi mo na kailangan ng visa pag pumunta ka ng UK or any other country. Napaka-powerful na ng passport nila. But if the intention is to live here and survive winter time, answer ko dyan is no. Tsaka, when you realize, I mean, if you think about it, if you earn in dollars and you spend in peso, napakalaking bagay nun. Right? Kasi if you're in the US, you earn in dollars and you also spend in dollars. There's not much difference. But if you earn in dollars and you spend in peso, oh God, imagine mo nagmamultiply ng 55 pesos yung $1, 'di ba? Ang laking bagay nun. So, yeah, if you're still wondering if this is a good place for you, this is it. Practice US tax where you earn in dollars and you spend in peso because you're in the Philippines. Tapos, gawin nyo na lang if you want to experience US is, visit na lang kayo. Right? Hindi na kailangan tumira sa US at maging US taxpayer. Diba? Laki din ng tax sa US eh. Like lahat dito may tax. Magugulat ka na lang, kunwari magsha-shopping ka, mag-grocery ka. Akala mo yun na yung price, di ba? Pero pagdating mo sa counter, may plus tax pa pala yun. Diba? So, basta mahal dito. Mahal ng nirahan. Cost of living is also expensive. But the quality of life, unmatched din. Super, super duper ganda ng quality of life. Anyway, di naman siya madali. Depende, di naman siya madali. Yeah. If you're earning same in those in the US, better to live here pa rin. Oh, agree. It's scary now. Trump changes moods and I might find myself deported while I'm sleeping. Yeah, it is. It is very. Kwento ko lang. When I was in San Diego, trip ko lang, sabi ko. Gusto ko mag-drive sa Mexican border kasi 'di ba San Diego is the last city tapos Mexico na. Tapos nagrent ako ng car. So I was driving, papunta ako ng Google Map lang na or ginamit ko yata Perplexity noon. So paanong mag-drive doon sa wall. Tapos, may sinuggest na mga parks kasi that time, closed yung mga parks. So, yun, nag-drive lang ako. Tapos, when I was when I was close to the border, lahat na nakikita kong sign, Mexico na. Tapos yung road sign, Mexico na din. Tapos kinabahan ako, shit, Mexico na ba to or US pa? Tapos, nakita ko yung sign, this is your last chance to make a U-turn. Nag-U-turn talaga ako. Hindi na ako tumuloy. Nag-U-turn ako tapos nag-stop ako doon. Parang I was catching my breath kasi sobrang kinabahan ako. Kasi nag-rent lang ako na car, di ba? Tapos yung agreement ng car was that you only have to drive it within the US. Pag nag-cross ako ng border, may Mexico na yon, breach of contract na yon. Tapos, ang system kasi, pag paalis ka from US to Mexico by road, hindi walang border patrol from the Mexican side. So you can freely go out. Pero pag pabalik mo ng US from Mexico, ang dami mong dadaanan. So may customs, may immigration. So I don't want to go through that. So buti na lang nakita ko yung last U-turn, talagang kinabahan ako. Buti na lang, 'di ba? Parang unite pa din ako ng guardian angel sa sobrang pagka-adventurous ko, muntik pa akong magka-issue. Although hindi naman about, kasi valid naman yung visa ko and then I have not breached my visa naman. But yung iniisip ko na maraming tanong, ba't ka nandito sa US, blah blah blah. Parang nag-overthink na ako. Tapos pangalawa, yung agreement doon sa car, 'di ba? So buti na lang na ano ko yun. Pero nakwento ko yun kay Cristel, yung isang farm owner din when I was in LA. Um, Meron siyang friend na yun nga walang papers but he was been in the US for quite a while, for several years na. Tapos yun yung nagkamali sila nga na nalagpas sila sa border. So pagpabalik hinanapan ng papers, wala siyang ma-present. Na-deport siya. 'Di ba? So ang lungkot, ilang years na siya sa US, isang mali lang na-deport siya. Tapos hindi pa yung time ni Trump, but time pa yun ni Biden. So, ayun. Meron ding isa, recently, ano naman siya, undocumented din siya na mother. Naligaw din siya, pero Canada naman this time. So, napasok siya ng Canada. Pagbalik niya sa US border, hinanapan na siya ng paper. Dominican Republic citizen siya. Wala siyang paper. Kahit US citizens yung mga anak niya. Dineport siya. So, ayun, kwento ko lang. Strict ang US ngayon. Super strict sila. So, if you have like a visa na gusto mong alagaan, alagaan mo na. Kasi very powerful yung I have a B1, B2 visa, multiple entry for 10 years. And with that, nakakapasok ako ng Canada kahit wala akong visa sa Canada. Kasi if you have a US visa, you can apply for a Canadian e-travel online. As in literal minutes lang, meron ka ng electronic visa to enter the Canadian border by flight. And then you can travel to Mexico walang visa. There's a lot of countries that you can visit na walang visa. Kasi ganun ka-powerful yung US visa. And you can apply one too. Especially kung tax practitioner na kayo. Kasi may record na kayo sa IRS, ganun. So, part yun ng background check nila. Diba? So, higher chances kayo of getting approved a US visa kung meron kayong maipakitang may record kayo sa US, mga US agencies. And pag tinatanong ako lagi, like, what do you do? What's your ano daw yung trabaho ko? Then I would say, I'm a tax accountant. Tapos yung question, as in, wala nang follow-up question. So parang ang laki ng ano nila ba? Respeto nila sa pagiging pagiging tax accountant. So ayun, tinanong ako doon nung visa application ko. Apat na tanong lang yata. Yun nga, kasi pag last na tanong, what do you do? Sabi ko, I'm a tax accountant. Ayun na. Tinaptan kita na tapos yung question. Tapos sa immigration, yung pagdating mo sa US, kasi dadaan ka din ng immigration eh. Isa din yung sa tanong, what do you do? Lagi kong sagot, US tax, I'm a tax accountant. Yun. Tapos yung Q&A. So, yun. Kwento ka lang. Kwentuhan na tayo, di ba? So, Wala tayong question. 2? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will be done by then.
3:30, but we need to drive. I like 20 minutes
Okay.
with the location.
All right, sure. Thank you. Okay. Right. So, ano na? 11 na kasi my time, 11 a.m. Ano nang oras dyan? 9:30 na ata, no? Sorry, napahaba yung kwentuhan natin. So, CPD, di na rin ako maka-renew. O, diba? Kailangan mong habulin yung CPD ng CP. Alam ko may mga online na din na ina-offer yung Philippines for CPE. Meron akong binayaran dati, ang laki, mga 15,000 ata for several units. Hindi ko din naman nagamit. Kasi nung nag-renew ako one time ng CPA license ko, nag-sign ako ng waiver. Nag-sign lang ako ng waiver. Pero I don't think this time, pag nag-renew ako, I can still sign a waiver kasi nga, parang ang dami ko ng utang sa CPE. Baka di na rin ako mag-renew. I don't know. Between US and AUS, it seems AUS taxation is simpler and easier to learn. There is just much to learn in US taxation. Haha. I can't really comment, Mary Ann. Because I haven't done US taxation, and I don't know if I would ever consider one. But yeah, if you find it simpler, then good. For those who also want to learn AUS, marami ding opportunity for AUS taxation. Maraming nag-outsource kasi marami din namang Filipino na CPA na sa Australia. And Australian market is also good kasi pag hanap mo daytime na client nung wala masyadong time difference between the Philippines and Australia, magandang aralin din yung AUS, and maybe Mary Ann can help. Right. Thanks, Mary Ann, for sharing. Masarap lang ang travel talaga sa abroad but not to stay a lifetime. I agree. Follow your heart, Chris. Dami mo matutulungan. Yeah. Good evening, sir. Second time ko lang po dito. Bago lang po ako. Pwede niyo ba ako i-join sa GC? Yeah, I think we already got that. 57 na. Lalo insurance. I don't know what you mean, Jocelyn. Nagalit ang mga Filipino sa VAT. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you're welcome. Right. I think last question before we go. From Paula. Hi, Chris. Allowed mag-work sa US with B1, B2 visa. We have the same visa pero takot ako mag-try maghanap ng work vacation. No. Don't ever consider. Ako nga actually, kwento ko lang to ha. Off the record na ba tayo? Can we just stop recording na?
Meet our free US tax preparation course brought to you by the Borderless Accountant. We are inviting you to join our community. Live training, reputable tax firms as resource speakers, recorded, replayable at higit sa lahat, libre. To join, like and follow our official Facebook page, join our Facebook group for important updates, and fill out our Google form to be included in our mailing list. See you there!